The following video is intended for adult collectors only. Due to the extreme size and weight of this collectible, all proper safety precautions should be taken when handling this product.
What's up, Lantern fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, coming at you once again with another Green Lantern product review. This time I'm taking a look at the XM Studios 1/4 scale statue of Green Lantern Kyle Rayner. The most frustrating feeling as a collector is to wish for a product that doesn't exist. And for decades, I wanted a premium quality Kyle Rayner statue, and not only did none exist, there were none on the horizon. However, XM Studios has finally come through, and I can't tell you just how excited I am to own this statue. But before I take a closer look at this statue, let's talk about the packaging details. The statue comes with this large, detailed picture of the pieces within the box, and of course, these have to be assembled. The box is a basic black and white color scheme with the Green Lantern logo on the top. And to give you an idea of just how massive this box is, I have placed a 12-inch Hal Jordan action figure on top of it.
Even out of the box, this statue weighs almost 60 pounds, and much of that is in the base. This is the body of the robot construct, and it is very detailed. The sculpting is very intricate, and it makes for a very sturdy statue. Here's a look at the statue partially constructed. The first three pieces that I put into the base were the head of the robot and the smoke trails that join to the back of the construct rockets. These parts slid into the base easily, and they felt secure once they were there. Here is the robot's head fully constructed, with the two side pieces that slide into the head and are held in place by magnets. Kyle's wildly creative use of the ring began with his co-creator Darryl Banks, who gave the character visuals heavily influenced by sci-fi and fantasy media. It's fitting that for this statue, Kyle is surrounded by the artistic creations of his own mind. Another detail that I like about the base is that the robot's body is engulfed in flame, denoting energy that is solidifying into metal. I also like the fact that the Green Lantern symbol is on the construct itself. Kyle himself is in a kneeling position atop his creation. His back leg ports into the base, while his front leg sits atop the robot's head. One of the artists credited with the design of the statue is Rafa Sandoval. I really like the extra lines here on the boots as well as the black portions of Kyle's costume. I think those complement the mechanical design of the construct very well. Color has been used to differentiate the different stages of the construct coming to life. If you'll notice that the rockets are a metallic green, and they're a darker metallic green than the energy that's pouring out of his hand here. It's a much lighter shade of green. By the way, this is a piece that fits around his hand. Also, in terms of coloring, there's been a dark wash applied to the white section of his uniform, and I really appreciate that because it gives it a layer of realism. And you can see definition between the abdominals and the pectoral muscles. If you've ever heard me talk about Kyle Rayner's design on the Emerald Echo podcast, you know just how much I love this costume. It's my favorite in all of comics. And the execution of the gauntlets as well as the mask here are absolute perfection. You can see this metallic green that's been applied to the mask, and that just looks amazing, as well as all of the details on the gauntlet. And I really like the hand positioning here. You can see his fingers are kind of curled back in this dynamic hand pose, and that just looks magnificent. Each of the rockets have these little pieces on the side. There's 8 in total between the two rockets, and they just port into the main part of the rocket, and they're held there with a magnet. Speaking of magnets, the lower half of his arm is actually held to the upper part of his arm with a magnet. You can just pull that off easily. And there's a closer look at that, and it ports back on without any problems. As I was shooting footage from different angles, I noticed that this underneath angle makes it look like he's actually gripping the rocket with his left hand and guiding it, and I thought that was really cool. Another positive aspect of this statue is the number of Green Lantern Corps symbols that it has. As you can see here, we have the Green Lantern Corps symbol on the tip of this rocket, and of course, there is one on the other rocket as well. Yet another Green Lantern symbol adorns the side of the rocket, and you can also see that color pattern once again. Going from left to right, you can see the metallic green, then just a darker green, then a lighter green as the construct becomes more solid. Here's a look at the back of the base. This is where the smoke trails begin. Once I decide on a permanent display spot for this statue, I'll have to get a model cleaning brush and brush off all these small bits of styrofoam. These puffs of smoke curl around Kyle as he manipulates the rockets. This is really museum quality production. This angle illustrates just how dynamic this statue is. Kyle is unleashing the full power of the Green Lantern ring, and that's reflected in his body positioning. Here's a close-up of Kyle's back. You can see the various textures on the different sections of his uniform. And even with all of this superb sculpting, it still looks like fabric covering human muscle. This angle gives you a perfect view of the statue's musculature. From the triceps to the deltoids, to the trapezius, to the latissimus dorsi, to the quadriceps, everything here looks like actual human anatomy. It's a really jaw-dropping sight. There are 2 individual pieces that represent the ring energy. The one on which I'm focusing here runs from the base up to Kyle's hand. This second piece has the appearance of green electricity spilling out in all directions from Kyle's ring. There's actually a pin in the middle of this piece that ports directly into the center of Kyle's Green Lantern ring. Here's a look at Kyle's ring hand without the top piece. Once the top piece has the pin placed in the center of the ring, it acts like a cage that goes around not only Kyle's hand, but the other piece that represents the ring energy. I only have 2 small issues with this statue, one of which has to do with that top energy piece. As you can see here, Kyle has a groove in his forearm, and the end of this energy piece is supposed to fit into that groove. This piece is much more pliable than the other pieces of the statue, so I was able to get this into that groove. However, once I had both this piece in place and the pin, I instantly felt tension on this piece, and that's not something a statue collector wants to feel. Some collectors would say, just put it into place and eventually the piece will reshape itself. I understand that line of thinking, but I'm not willing to take that chance here. I was able to shift this piece around slightly, and it rests securely on the statue's arm. As you can see, this piece looks just fine with the way that I've positioned it. The portrait, aka the head sculpt, has been executed to absolute perfection here. From the realistic skin tone to the way that Kyle's hair blows back from his face due to the energy around him, as well as the paint application of this metallic green on my favorite mask in all of comics, I really have 0 complaints about this portrait. Here I have placed the portrait under extreme light to show you every detail. As you can see from the shape of the mask to the expression, there are no weak spots on this portrait. This is exactly what a Kyle Rayner fan wants. The other minor criticism that I have of this statue has to do with the Green Lantern Corps symbol. It actually has nothing to do with the symbol itself. As you can see, this is the one that was introduced in Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 17. In that issue, Kyle's White Lantern ring is torn asunder, and the various rings make their way back to their respective corps. But the green ring hovers in front of him and eventually comes back to his finger, and Kyle rejoins the Green Lantern Corps. Some people will say that I'm asking for too much here, but for what this statue costs, I would have appreciated one more accessory. I wish that there were a way to slide this symbol off and replace it with the original Darryl Banks design. I feel that XM Studios could have had this symbol on a disc that would pop off of the statue and then could be replaced by another disc that contained the original Kyle Rayner design from 1994. I want to thank XM Studios for producing this statue. It is now the centerpiece of my collection, and I am so excited to own it. If you like this video, make sure to check out my other Green Lantern collectible reviews, and please like and subscribe. And I'll be back to the internet with more Green Lantern related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.